and it leads to drug overuse and drug overdose. That's what it does when you're trapped in the bubble and really don't realize it. And when you get trapped in the bubble and you realize it, God damn, I'm trapped in the bubble. Now you start getting high because you're trapped in the bubble. You can't trust any and everybody. Everywhere you go, motherfuckers don't love you. Whitney. She's truly trapped in the bubble in her success and fame.
Speaking of pressure, we was talking the other day, and I was being honest, and speaking of that pressure bubble, I can look back now and say, there was a period in my life when that whole Pakistani plug run and stuff, I'm out my mind. Living like Bobby and them back in the day, without going into details, but but a lot of it was the pressure. Now, my thought was, because as good as the run was, that sooner or later them people, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, that when you live in that, the reality that any day them people might come and you looking at doing 20, that's reality.
True.
And me and you was just
that's the truth.
That's the truth. And to be honest, a lot of the life at that time, the escaping from that pressure, be that sense of impending doom that this shit going too good, and sooner or later that day gonna come, the doorbell gonna ring.
Are you ready to go to sleep, or are you ready to tell?
Well, we was saying,
you ain't smart enough to say, okay, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Because in every man's career, it's a time when you should quit, when you're ahead.
And most
you take
do
that
not.
step. 99% of them don't. Keep going because the streets be calling.
Go unpack that for us.
When the streets is calling, motherfuckers calling your name, you that guy. Look at Demetrius. Take him for instance. You see what I mean? How can he stop when the streets is calling?
Even though we're good,
understand?
and we talked on that Demetrius thing. God rest his soul, and I know that was your man. He did, man. I only through you one time came across him, but because this ain't just D, it's all of them. My father, your father. But we speaking about Demetrius. You beefed out with all these guys in the streets. The feds is all over you. You sitting on multiple millions of dollars. Now, we can sit back now and say, if it's land like that, why don't you take the bankroll and go head on someplace in this world and go live your life? Why you still want to run around the streets of Detroit? You got millions of dollars, but you want to run around the streets of Detroit shooting at people and people shooting at you, and the feds all on your neck instead of taking your bankroll and going to live your life.
Some motherfuckers get a rush out of that. He didn't get high. So obviously that was his rush. Gambling and beefing had to be his rush.
So you're speaking of the addictive nature of the lifestyle.
Man, they always said once you kill one motherfucker, you down to be killing motherfuckers from now on. I mean, look at it. Him and best friends killed over 80 people. It's a lot of motherfucking carnage, man.
That's a lot of carnage. Okay, to switch lanes a little bit, and hopefully you don't mind going into sharing some of the stuff we be talking about when we ain't on camera.
No doubt.
You was talking about your father and the two men he left in charge to kind of run things both times in cases when he was locked up. And the one similarity they both had.
Not getting high.
And those two people were?
Courtney Brown and Demetrius Holloway. Neither one have I ever seen get high, nor even take a drink. Both of them. Neither one got high.
Now, you think that was a coincidence?
I think he just felt they was responsible, and when a motherfucker ain't getting high, you might lean more toward them because you might feel they're a little more responsible. It don't always work out like that, but in this case it did. He felt it. Then like I tell you, at the same time, you had to look at a lot of things when you choosing that motherfucker. He got to also be able to handle himself in the streets. If you're handling 100 keys and I keep leading you to that, and motherfuckers get to sucking you out the bag and not paying tickets, it's going to lead you to hurting people. Because the money gets to adding up to be too much. You talking millions of dollars, you give him 100,000 credit, he don't come in. You give him another 40,000, he don't come in.
Okay, I got to play street credit now, a street advocate, devil's advocate. Well, I'm going to keep feeding y'all, giving out credit. You're running off with the bag.
Not everybody.
Right.
Not everybody. Not everybody. Well, let's put this as that. One motherfucker can hurt you, let's say Big Ed.
Okay.
One motherfucker can run off with enough to hurt you. Now, add up everything after that, and you really hurt.
Some subscribe to it, though. If I give it to you and you don't pay me,
If motherfucker run off with $500,000.
Why you give him the $500,000 from the beginning then?
Because he ran 4 other times and bought it back.
Well.
Now the 5th time, he played me like a sucker that run off and act like this, that happened. Go out to California and get his own connect, come back. But never say, well, fuck it, I did all that. Here go your money back, nigga. We ain't got the beef. Fuck that nigga, I ain't never paying you. And I got another connect. Fuck you, I ain't giving you shit. Now what you gonna say?
I mean, that's a tough situation. But that's where I guess my and I'm just throwing out for conversation. When you look back, because we know how the story ended.
Exactly. But I can tell you why it played out like that. It wasn't because he owed anybody. It was because motherfuckers owed him. You keep missing the point. That shit adds up. One motherfucker alone is $500,000. Now count other motherfuckers. The fireman bought a brand new Corvette with your shit, told you fuck you, and sit right there in your goddamn money and car. You just gonna, them motherfuckers just gonna fuck you and tell you anything. If they're smart enough to talk. So now once you get to that way, they ain't gonna even talk out. They're just gonna slap you like a bitch and take it. Now we ain't even gotta ask you for it no more and sucker you not pay you. We just gonna catch you and take it from you. For real?
No. I'm just saying.
You don't remember when a motherfucker told my man, I'm gonna fuck your woman and you? You don't remember that shit?
I mean, you know what our people did to him when they told him that.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Did he have to do that?
He did.
No, did he have to do that? That wasn't over no money. He didn't owe him a quarter.
No.
Did he have to do that?
The man threatened his family and...
No, a motherfucker took the $500,000. Nah, he said he was gonna fuck you and your woman. Nah, you gonna defend your goddamn $500,000 just as well as you gonna defend you and your woman's ass. Now let's get real. I mean, that's serious. It's just as serious as a motherfucker running off with $500,000. It's just as serious. I can't say a motherfucker say, I'm gonna fuck you and your woman. Bro, that's just as serious as a nigga running off with my money. Because he really letting me know what he think of me. I'm a real bitch. So now, his next step...
Well, the commonality, well, the one that ran off with the $500,000 is still alive, but the one who talked that slick shit to our people, they are arresting with the... they're arresting us. They're pushing up daisies now.
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's how the game goes. It turned out, yes, he got. But a whole lot of motherfuckers went with him. That's one motherfucker thing he could say. He did not go by himself. God damn it, he put a lot of company right down there with him. So he joined a whole lot of motherfuckers he put down there. So for his one life, goddamn, let's say 40-1. His odds wasn't bad. If we was in a war in wartime, goddamn it, 40-1, you did pretty goddamn good.
If you could go back in time, would you have suggested? Now, of course, we don't know when
you can't do that. The king makes those decisions.
They say, look, man, you're ahead of the game. In this game, you're not going to beat the feds and keep ducking these niggas trying to kill you. It's time to pack it up and go.
The king make those decisions.
From 1970 to 1977, Eddie the Fat Man Jackson and Courtney the Field Marshal Brown operated the biggest drug trafficking ring in Detroit's history.
So I just bought what I thought you could handle, because I didn't think you was $1 million is what I'm playing with.
I think the streets really understood that if he bothered those guys, it was really going to be a problem.
Back during that time, you understand, it was the biggest thing happening in the city of Detroit.
Big Boss Filmworks and Big Boss Books presents Courtney Robert Brown Jr.'s follow-up to the book Motown Mafia. Motown Mafia, Big Man on Campus.
My internship was kind of in how the world of international finance and international criminal activities overlap.
Corey Black Sr. wanted Corey to go to school to bring legitimacy to the family, but Corey had other plans. While in college, with the help of his friends and his girlfriend, he starts and grows a successful drug operation.
5 minutes later, two agents, now I know they were agents, but at the time I see two guys go to the right, another two guys start walking towards me. They stop at my seat and they go, "Grab your bags, DEA, come with us." Needless to say, this is not the fun part of being an intern.
Corey finds himself conflicted with his responsibility to running the family business and his obligation to his college studies. However, he'll have to make things work in his favor if he wants to remain the big man on campus. The names have been changed to protect the guilty and the innocent.
I'm taking economics and business 101 and marketing, and you know, your economic teacher's telling you about a business plan and how you get a small business loan. And you know, it's kind of the hypocrisy of the world, because I'm like, that ain't how the real world works.
When you go through the neighborhood, do you ever ask yourself why you see so few black-owned businesses?
I think we have gotten away from it to a certain extent. But I know, based on the way I was raised, we need to start coming back to that place.
Giving them the resources that they need in order to make change. We do a lot of community advocacy. We go clean up the houses and the streets if need be. We just want to be a group that people can rely on, can count on, who can support the city.
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, you know, I always wanted my own business, and I always was looking for different ideas and things to do.
People know these stories. You know black men who own businesses. You know black men who take care of their families. You know black men who go to work every day and do their fair share to build their communities.
It's interesting, it's a long, it's a tedious, and it's a difficult process, but it was good for us, and it allowed us to grow as a brand because it made us really have an internal look at what we're doing.
So we came here to talk about, you know, getting your mind right so you can get your money right.